All right, welcome back to another episode of the Department Podcast with Justin Valentovic, Stephen Bologna, and Jesse Norman, and we are here to break down and predict, not really break down, but predict and pick Week 14 of the NFL schedule. We are in the home stretch, the last leg of the race, the NFL season. It's limping to the finish line at this point. So far, no games have been moved around due to COVID, so that is a great sign. But guys, what's going on?
Same old.
Doing well.
Doing well.
Vibing.
Yeah.
Thriving.
Football's been good. Had a crappy Thursday night game, but we got through that. These games look pretty crappy too, so we'll get through these too.
Yeah, and with that, let's get through these games. Oh boy. Oh well, that's not getting edited out. Whatever. Nope. So let's just start with Jesse. You can pick your first game.
All right. Disclaimer: I don't really love any of these bets this week as much. But the first one I'm looking at is Colts Raiders.
Ooh,
and
off the show.
The Raiders, I mean, plus 2.5. I mean, are they that good? Are they?
Justin.
Easy, Justin. Easy.
Yes.
Plus 2.5. All right. So the Colts are.
So the Colts just win. If the Colts win by a field goal.
Yeah, Colts win by a field goal. That's money. That's
it.
Easy money. That's easy money. Honestly, the Raiders almost got beat by the Jets last week.
Exactly. And then, and not even just that. That wasn't even like a fluke game where it's like, oh, well, you know, everybody has. They got destroyed by the Falcons the week before and didn't play good the week before that.
Yeah. These two teams are very, very similar, the Colts and the Raiders. Like, very, very similar.
This is basically a playoff game, too, when you think about it, because the Colts are currently the 7th seed. The Raiders are the 8th seed. So, you know, it matters to both teams.
This shifts. Yeah, this shifts the playoff.
Yeah, Colts are the 8th. Raiders are in right now.
If you told me who cares more about the playoffs.
Let me see.
You get 7 this year. So it'd be 7 for the Colts. The Colts are the 3rd wild card team.
Oh, yes. My bad. Apologies. Yes,
yeah,
Colts are the 7th.
But if you're asking me who wants the playoffs more, I would say it's the Colts. The Raiders are still in a rebuild, kind of. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I like the Colts here at minus 2.5. I think it just makes sense. I think the Raiders have not been playing well, and the Colts have to play well to get into the playoffs.
And it's a good barometer too, because offensively, the Raiders have been, you know, relatively good this year. So it's gonna see how well that Colts defense stacks up against a relatively good offense again.
Yeah,
I think the Colts are just a far better team.
Well, it's just
they've beaten better opponents.
Yeah, but it's also just because they're on the win now mode of the rebuild rather than the Raiders are still in the let's accrue talent and develop a culture part of it. But also, if they want to try to make a playoff run and kind of move things along and show that the rebuild's working, you know, this is a kind of must-win game for the Raiders now.
It's must-win for both teams, honestly, because like you said, Justin, with the playoff seeding and all that, this one is you're either getting into the playoffs or you kind of have to win your division to get into the playoffs. Like it's rough. It's rough for both teams, but I will take the Colts to win. And I'll take that minus 2.5 too. I think that's easy money.
All right, let's move things along to Clark now.
Okay. All right, Jesse, you picked our team, so it only fair that we pick. I'll pick your team, and we have the Jesus Christ, the Steelers and the Bills. Steelers only favored by 1. And
Sunday Night Football also.
It's Sunday Night Football. Steelers, of course, we know they lost to the Washington football team. Buffalo has been on a tear lately, but I still like the Steelers at minus 1 here. Bounce back game for the Steelers. There's just a lot of hate has been thrown towards them the past week because of the loss to the football team. And I just think they come out on fire and ready to prove that, hey, we're still this good 11-1 team, possibly 12-1 on Sunday. So I'll take the Steelers to win. I'm definitely taking that minus 1 for the Steelers.
And also with the Bills, you know, this is where they can really stake their claim, you know, if they're legitimate. And this is where we can really gauge is Josh Allen officially good or not. You know,
he had a tough job. Tough job.
It's gonna be a tough game. Yeah. You know, Steelers defense is phenomenal. You know, TJ Watt basically getting to the tier where JJ was in his prime when he was winning Defensive Player of the Year at this point, if we're being honest.
Oh yeah, no.
And then there's Derek,
an absolute monster. Well, Derek plays fullback, so let's be nice.
Maybe if he went to he went as DJ and switched sides of the ball, maybe he'll actually be good then. But he's also like a lot smaller than them too.
Yeah.
You got the mom jeans.
The Steelers at minus 1. I've seen some place have them up as the underdog. I don't know. I think it's hard to take not take an 11-1 team as an underdog. I've said what I had to say about the Washington game. I still worry that the Steelers could be tired. They're still reeling. They did play on Monday. It still is a shortened week from them, and we know how their schedule has been affected.
The Ravens had a shorter week this week now. The Ravens had a shorter week.
Exactly. Yeah, well, no, the Ravens are – yes. No. Ravens still have the same time because they're getting the Monday game.
Oh, they're Monday night?
Yep.
Why did
they're Monday night? Yep.
They've had
Why do they love the Ravens so much?
Because it's Lamar Jackson and its marketability.
It's Lamar Jackson, and they want to make sure that they get into the playoffs.
Oh my God, Steelers got screwed.
So I don't know. I can see both things here where Pittsburgh bounces back, but I could also see a thing of where Buffalo is really going out there to prove themselves. Because even the Steelers aren't undefeated. But if you still go out and beat an 11-1 team,
that's a statement win.
That's big.
And really, what other statement wins can the Bills make?
And you got to think
East.
It would almost kind of be like how Washington and New York went out and beat Seattle, beat Pittsburgh. Like that completely changed the credibility and the outlook of how we look at both those teams. So now if the Bills go out and do that to Pittsburgh, we'll be talking about them as being, playoff favorites.
The number 2 team in the AFC, number 2, number 3 in the AFC.
This is a battle here.
Yeah,
definitely.
Of top 3 defenses each. Big Ben hasn't been playing the best football as of late, but I will take his veteran leadership on a game on a game where playoff implications are factoring here. At the same time, though, Josh Allen and this offense do have the capability to run up a lot of offensive points. So I really want to take the Steelers, but I think the way Buffalo's been playing, the way that their offense has been able to score points, I'm gonna take Buffalo on this one.
I'm going with Buffalo also. The main reason, their receivers actually catch majority of the passes thrown their way. Cole Beasley has been what Wes Welker was to Tom Brady almost to Josh Allen this year. He's been the go-to slot receiver in the red zone. Stephon Diggs has been, fantastic. We talk about him all year round. And you look at the Steelers, they drop a lot of balls.
That's Ebron. That's just Ebron.
Well, Claypool's had a few.
We know that.
Johnson too. Deontay Johnson too. It really does. I blame Randy Fincher and this offense. It's literally you get I understand wanting to get the ball out of Ben's hands fast, but you can let receiver runs routes. They don't need to just run 2 yards and stop, and then Ben's just throwing it to him. It reminds me of the prime Kaepernick offense of just snap the ball and throw it as hard as you can to the receiver.
It's the West Coast offense. Get it out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And with that,
I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing for the Steelers to run.
We're not too sure, but only time will tell. And I'm going with Buffalo as well. So we're going over to Steve, the other one.
Okay. Let's go with Green Bay traveling to Detroit. Green Bay plus 7.5. 55 is the over/under. Should be an easy game for Green Bay. You got to be careful they don't take Detroit too light. Detroit's Matthew Stafford has been playing really good football this year. Big comeback win last week against the Bears with their first game with interim head coach. Plus 7.5. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. Divisional game. I could see the Lions keeping it within 7-3 range, but over under definitely as well. I'll take the over. Aaron Rodgers probably going to put up 30 points with that offense easily. Should be a Packers across the board here.
Yeah, this will be an easy game for Aaron Rodgers to go into Detroit, walk out with a 10 to 14 point win. Lions, they're a dumpster fire. They're running into a buzzsaw and probably the second best wide receiver in the NFL this year alone in Devontae Adams. So he's going to have an absolute day as he's been having basically week in and week out this year. So give me the Packers as well.
Yeah, give me the Packers. Give me the over. I would, if you were betting in a parlay, I would take anytime touchdown Devontae Adams. He's
every week.
He's scored every single week. I have him in one of my fantasy leagues. He's an absolute dog.
Yeah, easy Packers too. Yeah, nothing more to say about this one. Lions, like you said, Justin, dumpster fire, nothing going on for them. Packers are rolling.
All right, so we're up to me now, and I want to talk about a game with an interesting storyline, and it's Week 14, And we're seeing one of the rookie quarterbacks in the NFL make his first start of the year, and that's Jalen Hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles against the New Orleans Saints. Saints are favored by 7 on the road, and I'm going to take that all day.
Oh, so hard.
The Eagles, they're a complete mess. I'm not saying Hurts is worse than Wentz, but you're asking him to go up against one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. He won't have a ground game, and the pass defense is also pretty good too. And also at the same time, Taysom Hill has been taking care of the ball just enough. He had a few fumbles last week, but that's here nor there. You're asking a lot of this kid. It's going to be hell. You assume he's going to be the starter the rest of the season because Wentz basically benched himself, and he's basically the fall guy for Doug Peterson at this point. So give me the Saints all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Easy.
far and away. The Saints defense has been playing absolutely astronomically right now. Like this is the best I've seen the Saints defense play in years. Yeah, I mean,
it's really been
they're
the best
really
since,
doing Hurts no favors. They're really doing him no favors.
The defense has basically been the best since like Marshawn Lattimore's defensive rookie of the year campaign. Like that's when it was like top tier elite.
Yeah, that was like 3-4
years ago
now.
Yeah, it was
No,
a while.
more.
No,
Yeah.
I agree here though with this game. We don't know what we're gonna see out of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I think he might open a few eyes. Jalen, I like Jalen Hurts in college, so I still think he's gonna be pretty. He might run around a little and do decent, but not enough to get the win over the Saints. And I think the Saints cover that too. They'll get more. They'll win by more than 7, definitely.
I think the Saints do win as well, but I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people think, and I think Jalen Hurts is really going to surprise some people. We saw a very small sample size of him at the start of the fourth quarter last week against Green Bay. He ended up leading that team for 13 points, including a 50-yard touchdown to Jalen Reagor, which is huge. You want to see that rookie connection getting going. He had 5 carries for 30 yards. Again, small sample size, but I think he knows that this is like his opportunity here. Wentz has been under such scrutiny for so long. He's had so long to know this playbook. Wentz is a veteran. He's learned under him. I think this game's going to come down to the last second. I think the Saints and Taysom Hill have been playing good enough football to scratch out with the win, but look out for Jalen Hurts.
All right, cool.
All right, let's move things back to norms.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, don't care.
A lot of don't care.
All right, this one's interesting because I think this can go one of two ways with the Chiefs and Dolphins. Chiefs are at -7.5, Dolphins +7.5. I mean, it's really going to be one thing or the other. It's going to be the Dolphins play them close or the Chiefs just absolutely blow them out. And I'm leaning more on Chiefs blowing them out, especially with Pittsburgh's loss to the football team. Because now they can get that first round bye, especially if the Steelers lose to Buffalo.
I'm on the opposite side. I think the Dolphins are going to play competitive. I still think they lose by more than 7.5, but I think they play them competitive because we've seen Brian Flores, what he did in New England. Granted, the talent on those New England defenses was far better than what they currently have on Miami, but not to say to take anything away from Miami either. They have a young, scrappy, good defense. So I think they'll at least play competitive. And I'm not going to say they'll completely slow it down, the machine that is Kansas City's offense, but I think they'll be, I don't see it being a 20-point plus rout.
I can't really see Tua and Miami going point, score for score with.
Well, that's the thing.
Kansas
It's going to be a track
That's
meet.
my thing. I don't think Tua's. Especially right now, he doesn't have that to go pass for pass with Mahomes. The only rookie I've seen that has shown that I think was Herbert, of going pass for pass. But I don't know. I really think the Chiefs are going to turn it on this game.
I'm thinking the opposite, guys. I'm thinking Chiefs going to the East Coast, away game. Got to travel.
Oh, they're going to Miami.
It's
a vacation.
Gross to play in.
It's East.
Oh, no, I agree.
There you go. It's gross.
Rather than
terrible basketball city too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Runners up.
Okay.
Nothing but second place losers.
How was the Wizards cardio in the bubble? How'd that go?
It was a great 8 games. A lot of suicides,
good.
baseline to baseline.
Anyways, I'm taking the Dolphins to squeeze out a win here. We saw a lot of upsets last week. I think it could get really close this game. I think the Chiefs just might have an off game in this one. They might be underplaying their opponents a little bit, because when you see the name the Dolphins, you don't think of the team that's been competing out there every week the last couple of weeks. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and take the Dolphins to win this game.
All right, and Clark, let's keep it with you.
Oh boy, that was one dumb pick last week. This week we'll go to my dumb pick last week, which was the Jets to win over the Raiders, but that should have happened.
It was close. It
should have happened.
One Greg Williams middle finger to Adam Gase later, and could have happened.
It could have happened, but the Jets are traveling to Seattle, where another New York team got a win in Seattle. So could another New York team go to Seattle and get a win in there 2 weeks in a row? No. The Seahawks are going to beat the Jets. They'll probably, I don't know if they're going to cover. I don't know if they're going to cover the 13.5, just because the offense has been very bad as of late, but I'm taking the Seahawks to beat the Jets.
The Seahawks are going to win, and win big, because of Jamal Adams is going to be fired up. It's basically a revenge game to the, Adam Gase and the Jets. Plus you have the bulletin board material that Adam Gase said, the relationship, I didn't think it was that bad between him and Jamal Adams. So he's going to have a point to prove, and Sam Darnold's going to feel the brunt of all of Jamal Adams' frustration with the New York Jets.
Rip.
Yeah, my struggle with this is that when the Jets have Sam Darnold, some weeks, like, they put up points.
Yeah.
Like they have some semblance of an offense when he's there.
Definitely.
So I don't know if Seattle covers the 13.5, because that's a lot, especially for Seattle. Seattle does not beat down on bad teams.
No.
They really don't beat down on them. They should more. I'd probably take the Jets on the spread, just because, like, two touchdowns or 13.5, like, that's a pretty big spread. And I just don't know if Seattle has it in them to just beat up on the Jets like that.
I agree.
This is such an important game, and kind of lucky here for Seattle too, because they've been playing really poor football as of late, and the Rams have just been breathing down their necks for so many weeks now. This is a must-win, obviously, but I think it's a pretty easy win for them. Maybe Russell Wilson could help his MVP campaign in this game. I agree with you, Jesse. I don't think the Jets are that bad. They put up, 27 last week, or 24?
28,
the Raiders.
I think,
28,
like
yeah. So I think they'll keep it somewhat close, but Seattle should have no trouble in this one.
Boy, you guys are starting to sound like Chris Jones. Jets aren't that bad. But with that,
hey,
Bologna, we're back to you.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, boy.
WFT, Washington
Hail
football
to the
team,
football team.
heading to Arizona to play the San Francisco 49ers. Niners favored in this one, -3.5. 43.5 is the over-under. I think the under is going to come out here. This is two teams with very kind of offenses, especially with Nick Mullins over there in San Francisco. And the spread, I think Washington – see, I don't want to get my hopes up and say Washington wins, because I know they're going to let me down. But I think the way they played last week, they know that they have to get these wins now. And a giant loss this week against a tough Arizona team and a win for Washington, they're in first place. So I think they're going to come out fired up, send the pressure on Nick Mullins, let Chase Young and Montez Sweat do their thing. And Alex Smith has been very good at managing the game, what he's been known for his entire career. And they should, I pray, come out with a victory.
Yeah, I really think Washington's going to win. I think this might be the first time we all feel that way. Jesse might be a little bit of a wild card when we get to him, but they don't have Antonio Gibson, which is a big blow to the run game. But we saw, against Pittsburgh, McKissick and who was the other running back, Steve?
Ian Barber.
Barber.
It's McKissick.
McKissick, he filled the role quite nicely. And, the system just kind of kept moving. And like you said, Alex Smith, he was always, captain check down Charlie, whatever you want to call him. But they have, capable running backs that help him and get the best out of what he can do with his arm. And he takes care of the ball and they move the chains. And that's really what San Francisco has been struggling to do. And also, I love the D-line of Washington. It is so good. It's one of the best young units. It's kind of what we saw San Francisco build and develop to eventually get to the Super Bowl. And now, they lost Bosa, they traded away Buckner. So it's a shell of what that line was last year. But I see a lot of parallels to what they started with, to what Washington's trying to run with. So give me the football team.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game a lot more simple. You're looking at a banged up 49ers team, and you're looking at a Washington football team that just beat an undefeated Steeler team. Simple as that. Football team's on a roll, getting the easy win here. Plain and simple to me.
I think this goes either two ways. One, I don't think the 49ers are a bad team. I think the 49ers are a very well coached team.
Not bad.
And Washington's either going to come out and they're going to be prepared and they're going to want to make a statement again, or they could be a little too high on themselves and they might come out, and beating an undefeated team is a big deal. But the biggest thing is getting back to work the next week. And again, Washington had like 10, 11 days to prepare for Pittsburgh. They don't have this long to prepare for San Francisco. I think San Francisco probably pulls it off. I don't think they really should because they're not really playing for anything. But I do think Antonio Gibson as a loss is big. As a fantasy JD McKissick owner, I know he's really good at catching the ball. He is not a fantastic runner. He is a really good pass catcher. But the run game does scare me because Peyton Barber is not Antonio Gibson by any means. And I don't know if they're going to run McKissick out of the backfield that much. So if the 49ers defensive line gets going early, it could be a long day for Washington.
Boy, if you would have told me this time last year that Washington wouldn't have a name and they're like actually generally respected and like thought of like going in the right direction, I would have laughed in your complete face, because that is the complete opposite of what has normally happened. But good for Washington.
Yeah. That's like saying Ezekiel Elliott's a generational talent.
Exactly.
One of the dumbest quotes I've ever heard.
Who's up? I don't remember.
That was
I just went.
Oh, so me. Cool. Let's stay with the East. Let's go with the Giants.
Oh,
Giants,
baby.
Cardinals in East Rutherford. What?
All right.
Giants, they're going to have Danny Dimes potentially playing, but to what degree? I don't know. And this is going to come down to coaching. And we've seen with Joe Judge, he gets his team ready. He's able to game plan. He's able to adapt on the fly and change his game plan. But also, what game plan can get you ready for Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins? That's going to be, they're going to have to do basically what they did, the game against Seattle, where they backed as far away off as Metcalf and Lockett. Maybe let them catch a few passes, but don't let them get behind them and slow them down. Giants are actually, they're 2.5 underdog. Fine. Okay. It's going to ride on Daniel Jones's ability to run and escape the pocket, because we've seen actually that's where a lot of his game comes from, which is really, really weird to see from a Giants quarterback, considering we all grew up with seeing Eli Manning stand in the pocket, and just get absolutely drilled when he couldn't run and defend himself, looking like Phillip Rivers now.
Hey,
so at the end of the day,
elite.
I'm riding the hot hand. Give me the New York Football Giants.
Oh man, wow. This game's tough because they're like kind of polar opposites, these two, of what we kind of expected them to be. The Cardinals started off hot, but the last 2 or 3 weeks or so, they have not been playing good football. But the Giants they're almost in first place right now, and they could possibly get in first place with a win and a Washington loss. So this is tough, but like you said, Justin, the Cardinals have Kyler Murray and they have DeAndre Hopkins. Giants have a good defense. They have good players, but I'm taking the Cardinals to win. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I don't know. I've been burned by the Cardinals a lot. I don't know how good, I don't know how good they are at this point. But then also, I don't want to overrate the Giants for one win against Seattle when Seattle played like garbage.
Ready to do that.
I think there's a lot of people that are so ready to do that. I don't even want to say this would be a benchmark, because it's totally possible Arizona has not been good. Again, won't be good again this week, as they haven't been for the past 3 weeks.
Well, it's just because Murray's been clearly hurt and he's playing with a banged up shoulder, and that's what been the issue has.
And DeAndre Hopkins isn't fully healthy either.
No.
Hopkins is dealing with a I think a shoulder injury as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced in like 3 days. So
I should know considering he's on my
I don't know.
fantasy
I
team.
guess he's on my fantasy team in my other league, and he's listed as questionable right now, but it's actually in some doubt. So I guess give me New York on the spread of +3. Yeah. I guess that's what I'd take.
All right. We all picked this game. Good. We good?
I'll just say I think Arizona's going to pull this one out. I think the Giants have a very, very good chance to win because Arizona's lost 4 out of 5. Giants, we know how hot they are. This is a game this is why you paid James Bradbury for. He's been having an incredible season. He has to lock up DeAndre Hopkins. You have to trust Blake Martinez, who I think is honestly the most underrated linebacker in the entire game.
He's a tackling machine.
Yeah. You have to neutralize Kyler Murray's running ability. And if you can do that, Giants are going to pull this one out.
And with that, Norms, we're back to you.
All right.
Why you sound so angry?
It's my normal resting bitch voice.
Falcons, Chargers. Falcons favored by 2.5.
Let's see how Jesse makes fun of them this time around.
I mean, firstly, over under 49.5. I take the over.
If the Chargers didn't go out and get blanked by the Patriots, this line's completely different.
Yeah, I'm feeling the Chargers more here. I don't know. I probably wouldn't pick the game. I'd probably just take the over because I think the final score starts at like 28-24, which is already the over right there. But these are two very not good pass defenses going up against Matt Ryan and Justin Herbert. We don't really know week in, week out what we get with the Falcons. The Chargers, besides that game against the Patriots, I mean, Justin Herbert was doing absolutely phenomenal things. And he's going up against, again, a bad pass defense.
Like you said, Jesse, I'd stay away from this game. Like, it's very risky. Both of these teams are very similar, too. I don't really know who's going to win. I don't like this game at all. I'm still going to take the Falcons on a win just because they're the Falcons and Matt Ryan. I have no...
It would be like the Falcons to like pretty much screw themselves out of the playoffs and then just rip off like 3 straight wins.
Exactly.
That's exactly what they would do.
And then screw themselves out of the premium pick and just
Exactly.
be middle of the pack. And that's how you
Just
get
for
stuck
no reason.
That's how you get stuck in the wheel of mediocrity, which they have been basically since the Super Bowl loss. But Anthony Lynn's coaching for his job, even though I think we'll all agree it's all but said and done. He's done in LA. They're just keeping him there just for some continuity.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Chargers. I think Herbert will just have another day that we've seen him have, for majority of the season, and then it eventually slowed down. Obviously, he ran into the brick wall that was the Patriots, but give me the Chargers.
We got both coaches here coaching for their job. Raheem Morris probably would like to stay the head coach of this Atlanta team, but at the same time, I think Justin Herbert and the offense that he could put together, I think he's a little bit too much for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is playing very inconsistent football this year. Jesse, you said it good in the group chat. Falcons put up points, but he's really not because he's not the reason for that.
43 points. When they put up 43 points on the Raiders, Matt Ryan threw 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
He's been super inconsistent. He had a good start to the year, but he's really been sloping off. And I don't know if that's a product of a lot of players being hurt. Julio's been in and out of the rotation. Gurley's been hurt here and there, obviously. I don't know. I just don't know about the Falcons. I really don't.
All right, but one thing I do know is let's move on to the next game. Clark, what's your pick?
Texans Bears.
Ooh.
Another game where Texans are a lot better team than their record shows. They're a very good football team. I believe they were favored by -1.5, but I don't know because Justin just erased it. But
it's -1.5.
-1.5. I hammer that. The Bears are a horrible football team.
Yeah.
Even though Mitch has been playing better than than Foles, I'm taking Watson and the Texans all day.
Mahomes and Watson will always come back to haunt the Bears because they could have had either or of them, and they passed.
Yeah,
they traded up for Trubisky.
They traded up to pass on both of them, so they willingly did that.
Wow.
So with that, Watson has proved, especially last week, that he is an elite quarterback and he'll make anyone into a 100-yard receiver. He'll do it again, and he will outright just rout the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Yeah, the Bears' only hope is if their defense really steps up here because the offense isn't doing anything.
And both of these teams aren't really playing for anything too at this point. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, but if one of them is playing, I think for pride more, it's got to be Houston and Deshaun.
too.
Yeah,
I
especially
agree.
to
Watson
bounce back,
doesn't like losing.
especially to bounce back from that heartbreaking loss last week. Steve, what do you got on this game?
I think things are getting scary here with Deshaun Watson in Houston. He is clearly fed up with this organization and is tired of losing. And he needs to really think if he really wants to be here for the next 3-4 years.
Nope.
So if I had to pick this game, though, I think Houston is the far better team, and I'll take them.
All right, and Steve, let's keep it with you.
All right. Monday night.
Oh, boy.
Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns.
Oh,
45.5 is the over. This is a very interesting game because you want to say the Ravens right off the bat because namesake, but Cleveland's been playing some damn good football recently, and I think if Baker Mayfield can limit the turnovers and keep playing the solid football that he has, I think this one's going to go with the Browns here, with the over, I should say.
Yeah, Baker's been looking really good lately. The Ravens
Baker had
need this
a good
game.
half.
The Ravens need this game a lot more than the Browns do, so they'll be
Yeah.
playing basically from down. But at the end of the day, give me the Browns. I'm buying into the Stefanski hype.
Oh baby. Me too. I'm one to usually
Me too.
criticize the Ravens, and I don't think that they're as good as people like to say they are. Browns are home. They do have some fans there at First Energy Stadium. So I really like the Browns here. I don't think the Ravens are that good. I like the Browns a lot.
I'm not on this Browns bandwagon whatsoever.
Couldn't get a clean sweep.
Not even a little bit am I on this Browns bandwagon. I
Shit.
don't know. I like the points spread at -2.5 for the Ravens. Lamar's going to be back. Now, I'm not saying this is exactly what's going to happen, but early on in the season, when everybody was pretty hyped up about the Browns, they faced another divisional opponent in the Steelers, and they got destroyed. And I think it could happen again. Maybe not to the degree of 38-7, but I think Lamar is rested. I think he's feeling good. I think also the Ravens need this. Like, they are on the outside looking in for the playoffs.
Yeah, they are not
They
in the
need
playoffs.
this more than no, they're not. The Browns can honestly kind of take this game off because they have so much better of a record. Like, the Ravens are right now, they need this game. So I'm going to take them at -2.5 because if not, like, their playoff window is going to shrink a lot more.
Yeah, it's a must win for the Ravens. And we got about 5 minutes and change left in this
Pound through it.
episode. So let's just blow through the last 3 games real quick. Titans versus the Jaguars. Oh, boy. 7.5. The Titans are favored. What do you guys
Easy.
got?
Titans.
I take Titans on money line. I wouldn't touch the spread. Jacksonville's been much more competitive since Glennon's taken over. He's been capable.
He's been a
gotten
little
them
too
going
competitive.
enough.
He's been a little too competitive.
Sure.
for the
Exactly.
Jags
That's the
like,
thing.
and
He's
It's the anti-tank.
exactly.
Trying to screw him out of
they've
that
been a
number
different
2.
team.
He's trying to prove what the Bucks and the Bears all thought he was many, many moons ago.
They certainly compensated him for what they thought he was.
Yep, and then drafted his replacement, who is just as bad as him. And we are heading even southern more in Florida. I think, yeah, Tampa Bay is more south than Jacksonville. Minnesota Vikings are going down to Tampa Bay. Bucks are favored by 6.5.
I like that a lot. You know me, my boy Tom, buddy Tom, right there. He called me up the other day. He told me, you know what, we're gonna get the win for you. All right, you begin a lot of crap on the podcast. Guys crapping on you because you're a big fan of mine. So he's gonna go down and get a win over Kirk Cousins for me. So
Hey, you
I'm taking the
defended him
Buccaneers.
to the grave on a college TV program that we once all did. So you're on
Kind
the
of-
record. You're
Kind of forced to, but you
Big-
know.
Well,
yes.
that's TV magic. But give me the Minnesota Vikings all day. Justin Jefferson is proven to be an elite rookie receiver.
Yeah.
My front runner for offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
He'll have a day. Give me the Vikings.
Vikings are a mixed bag. They were bad to start off. They've been good, but then they just struggled to beat the Jaguars. But this is the thing. The Bucks are coming off a bye week, and this is the first time they've had some time off. Brady out of a bye week is going to be very motivated. I would take the Bucks here. I think this is a statement win that they need to really get back on track.
All right. And we are – Steve, did you talk about this game?
I was going to say,
Ah.
if I had to go with a team, it'd be Tampa. In Tampa, it's Tom Brady against Kirk Cousins. You could do the math, Justin.
All right, and we are on to the last game. How this is not the 425 Fox primetime game, the Andy Dalton revenge game against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Dallas Cowboys are going to Middle America. No Joe Burrow, but here we are, 3.5. The Cowboys are actually favored, but you know what? They're dysfunctional. They're a train wreck. Give me the Bengals.
Give me the Cowboys here. I'm taking Andy Dalton just to tear up the Bengals' crappy defense.
Well, the Cowboys defense ain't much better.
It's not. It's really not. But
it's not. But look who's starting for the
exactly. I don't even know who it is.
That's Brandon Allen, probably.
God, that's bad. Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys here. It keeps them in the division, so that's good for them. That's what they want.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, the Bengals. Any semblance of the Bengals being watchable went down when Joe Burrow went down.
If Burrow was still healthy and playing, I probably would have taken the Bengals, but that's not the case.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
Steve. All right, we good?
We're good.
We're good.
All right.
We got through it.
Just
all
under
right.
2 minutes. 2-minute drill, Clark.
We finished 2 minutes. Oh, it sounds like football practice. Jesus Christ. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Department Podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Leave a comment, leave a review, a like, subscribe, all that stuff I just said. You guys seem to like our baseball episode, even though we just put that out. It already has a lot of views, so thank you guys for watching that. We have a wrestling recap planned, NFL breakdown of Week 14 planned. Stay tuned for that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.